If you're familiar with many of Edison's machines, you'll recognize this right away. This is an Edison gem, but it's a very special gem. Edison came out with a gem in 1899 as the lowest cost machine he could produce to compete with some of the other machines on the market, specifically the Columbia machines, which were quite cheap. So this was his introduction of his budget machine called the gem. And it looks very similar to the other gems, but you know, when you look at the details, it's got a few strange details. First, it doesn't have a wooden case with the rounded lid that you may have seen with other gems, and the wooden base. It's called a drip pan gem. I mean, that's the name we give it, because underneath, since it doesn't have a wooden cabinet, by the way, this is a special horn. This would not have been the original horn. This is a very early horn that is collapsible, which is kind of interesting. So I thought it was a neat one to show off for this machine. This would have been an aftermarket horn. So this is called the drip pan gem because at the bottom, there's a little base there, a little pan to catch oil so it doesn't ruin your table or tablecloth. What's different about this is the way the on-off mechanism. A lot of times you'll see them on here, on this side, on the later gems. But in this one, it's like a little plunger. When I come in close with the camera, you'll see how it is a little different than the other ones. So this is called the Model A. There were many variations on it over the years. It was a good selling machine for Edison. And so they kept on improving it, and which makes it hard to repair them because there were variations in the motor and you got to find the right parts. So I'm going to bring you in closer to take a look at this and see what's different about it. As I said, it looks a lot like the regular gem. I mean, the size and shape of the case is similar. You'll notice the nickel-plated ID plate on it, which is on the front, where the next model up from this, the next year, would have had the word gem written on the front, and the ID tag would have been moved to the back. You can see the mandrel is a little different. There's this wheel on the end, like the pulley is a little bit larger, where on the later ones it was a bit smaller. So this is a mandrel specific to this model. And of course, the reproducer is unusual. This one was specific for this machine, couldn't be removed like the later ones, which used a Model C or a Model H Edison reproducer, and that could be used on all sorts of machines. This is one that could only be used on this gem, and it was screwed on, so you couldn't take it off. The function of the reproducer is basically the same as the early automatic reproducer. So it looks the same in many respects underneath. Doesn't have that large tab that you see on a C reproducer. The start, stop, and speed mechanism is here. It's a plunger. You push that in, and the machine will start, and you pull it out, the machine will stop, and you rotate it to adjust the speed. Like other early gems, it is key wind, and this one is made to play 2-minute cylinders, wax cylinders, so it's early. And the key is a little smaller than the usual one. And like some of them, the early machines, it unwinds as you play it, and you can't wind the machine up as it's playing, which you could do on some of the later, more expensive machines. So it's a nice little mechanism. And this one is in fantastic shape. And here's that horn I was telling you about. So it's a little longer than the regular horn. And when it's on this machine, it really makes a rare machine look even more beautiful.